In this video I visit a friend to see how he's got rid of his gas boiler and has electrified his house with solar panels, a heat pump, a vehicle to home charger and is using a Nissan E-NV200 for battery storage.
Come on in, Matt. This is Dave and Margaret's powerhouse.
Then, over coffee and pastries, we go through the figures and financials now that the systems have been installed for a year. This one is a long video, so there's timestamps below if needed.
Well, this is the front of the house, and there's 13 panels on the roof on this side. The house actually is 2,400 square feet, 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and a utility room.
And when was it built?
Sorry?
When was it built?
2015, December 2015. We're now walking towards the garage. We'll come back to the car later because that's actually our mobile battery of 40 kilowatts. But we have 10 panels on the front of the garage, and we have 10 panels on the rear of the garage, and we have another 10 panels on the back of the house. So we have a total of 43 panels.
And then you said you got a separate inverter.
Yes.
Separate inverter in the garage.
We have a 5 kilowatt converter in the roof of the garage, and we have a 6 kilowatt inverter in the roof of the house, and there's a control wire that goes between the two of them, so they talk to each other. So Matt, we have 10 panels on the front. These are the 10 panels on the back, and then if we look up to the roof, we've got 5 panels on each side of the ridge at the top. So it gives us a total of 43 panels in total.
And what spec are they?
The solar panels are double glass, so there is an amount of reflection which actually comes back up underneath, and they're 440 watts per panel. To share this with you, if you see this Queen Anne light, whatever you call it, it's actually a solar Edwardian light, because there was no street lights around here. And then when people come along, we've just got another solar light on it just to beef up when people are walking past.
Oh, yeah.
So Matt, this is the it's 11 kilowatt Daikin heat pump, and when Octopus put it in, we can't fault the guys that put it in. They were just absolutely terrific, and it took them 4 days to do the installation, even putting the plinth down. So that's where the flow and return pipes go through, and then you have to have an isolator next to the unit. So that's the Daikin heat pump. Matt, what is really interesting is that people get concerned about noise. This unit is actually running at the moment. Can you hear it?
No.
I can't.
No.
I can just feel a bit of vibration on the top. But again, it's a myth that these make a lot of noise. Well, perhaps it's because it's a Daikin, I don't know. So that's the heat pump.
And your bit of trellis work there? That's just
a bit of a joke.
Right.
Yeah. This is the flow and return pipes which go into the house. In fact, that's where the original gas boiler was.
Yeah.
So it goes down and it goes out through the wall, and the heat pump is on the other side of the wall. Also, to save money, we had the gas meter taken out. They have to take the gas meter out, Matt, to stop your daily charges. So that was all done as well by Octopus. And then this is the control panel for the heat pump, and this is a control box which is also working with the inverters. Yeah, one in the loft.
That's coming from the loft up there.
Yeah, one in the loft and one on in the loft of the garage. They're coming next Wednesday to give it its first annual service. Matt, this is where the hot water cylinder is, and you'll notice here we have a thermostat, so even today, as it's still very warm outside, it's still set to 26.5.
That's very warm.
Yes. If we open the door, this is a 300 litre hot water cylinder. Interestingly enough, there's another cylinder at the back there, and that is to send hot water back to the heat pump should it freeze.
All right.
Also here is the control panel, where you can do so many different things with it if you want to, but I don't. We just use the app on the telephone, does everything. But I think what is really, really unbelievably good, fantastic, whatever you want to say, the guys from Octopus who did the installation, which took about 4 days, taking out the old cylinder, putting this in, doing the heat pump, the craftsmanship and detail is unbelievable. If you look, even how it's all been cut properly, they had special tools to do it with.
Nice miter joints in the insulation.
It was lovely, yeah. So we'll now show you, while the camera's rolling, where the boiler was. So this was the original boiler cupboard, and we've now been able to get some extra space to put stuff in. So the flow and return pipes, they managed to pick up, and there's a board which I've put in, which hides all the flow and return pipe behind it. The only thing the house had which changed was, if you look at this plastic cable tray at the top here, that's the control wires which go from the heat pump into the cylinder cupboard. Just totally amazing. Also, as part of the installation, we had a surveyor came out and spent, I don't know, 3 hours with us going through each room. And because the water temperature is a lot lower, you have to have more surface area on the radiator. So we had 7 radiators replaced, which all came under the price with Octopus. It was just totally insane how cheap it was when you look at the overall scheme of things. So Matt, this is one of the radiators got changed, and the only difference being, instead of it being a single panel radiator, it's now a double panel radiator. And all the pipe work in the house was fine. So it's all small bore.
It's all 10 millimetre, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. So that was that. And what people also don't realise is how good the heating is, because you haven't got hot and cold spots. It's all ambient temperature all the time. But you have to have it to feel it and understand it. It's just terrific. Oh, we had a couple of towel rails also changed in the bathrooms. But yeah. One of the problems, Matt, is people don't get what David and Margaret's powerhouse has actually achieved. We were the very first company in the UK to go vehicle to grid, which was on a government system, which we had at the workplace. We had 3 chargers. So the Nissans would go out and do their day's work. They'd come back and they would discharge any electricity that was left over back into the grid. We learnt so much during that programme, and I desperately tried to get funding to make a vehicle to house charger. Nobody would back it, because I just felt that it was the way forward for the future. And then Indra came up asking for volunteers for a vehicle to home charger. Over 5,000 people, I believe, tried to go on it. 200 were allocated, of which I was one of the lucky ones. So we've now got the Indra vehicle to home charger, which is this beast here.
Huge.
So what happens is the Nissan over here has a 40 kilowatt battery, and it will charge from 11:30 at night to 5:30 in the morning at 7p. And during the afternoon, it will work out how much we're likely to use in the house. So it will run the house from 5:30. The switch is transparent. You don't even see a light flicker or anything else. The house is then run at 7p from the car battery. Then, during mid to late afternoon, it will work out how much more electricity we need to use before it gets recharged at 11:30. It then will send electricity back from the car battery back to the grid at 15 pence per unit. So the rationale behind it is, if ever we moved home, we take the vehicle to home charger, chuck it in the back of the car, and off we go to the new house. It's really that simple. It's just an unbelievable story. So we have that on top of the solar which we've got, and we've just had a check or a bank payment for £758 from Octopus. So, you know, although we're running the house at the temperature of 26 degrees all throughout the year, 24/7, and also the hot water at 24/7, and we're still getting a return on. So we're getting free fuel and we're getting money back for having it. So as a battery goes, 40 kilowatt battery. This car is 5 years old, coming up 6 years old. WeBuyAnyCar.com is sub £7,000, and it's like brand new, and it's actually a people carrier. So this particular one is a 5-seater, and we have one over there. We've got 4 of these altogether. This one is a 7-seater, and this one is only done 25,000 miles. So although we're not having to pay for energy because of the money we're getting back, I did forget to tell you that both the Tesla, which is Model X, which is a high mileage vehicle, and the Mini, which is a low mileage vehicle, which the wife has, which is another story in itself, because we were E-Mini pioneers back in 2009. All the energy that goes into both cars is included in the overall scheme of things, and I'm still getting £758 back like we did last week. It's bonkers, absolute bonkers. Just a shame that the vehicle to home chargers are not commercially available, and they're not likely to be, due to the fact that different manufacturers have different protocols. It has to happen. It's got to be the way forward, but the government just, I don't think, are getting it particularly. So Matt, to answer your question, what did this cost? The contribution that we made was £1,600. That was it. And it's actually on a CHAdeMO charger. But of course now, CHAdeMO, they don't do anymore. It's all gone to CCS. So it's such a shame. So the way in which it works, you can actually see in night time when it's discharging into the house and when it's charging into the car. So at the moment you can see on the front of the car there's some blue buttons.
Blue lights, yeah.
So it's almost fully charged at the moment. So it won't be long before that will start sending energy back to the grid. So Yeah, it's my story. The rationale behind the logo and the Sayad Business School, Sayad Business School called us in one day and asked us if on our electric vehicles if we would put their branding on it. They'd recently won a gold award for being green, and of course we were absolutely ecstatic about that, to be recognised that we were able to do zero emission deliveries into Sayad Business School, and of course into the centre of Oxford and everywhere else. And on the back of all of them, we've got tow bars, and we tow small trailers when we have to. And cost-wise, it's nothing. So you're probably going to get something like 4 to 5 miles of range on one of these for a kilowatt, 7p. The Tesla will do 3 miles on a kilowatt. So when we go down, we have a caravan in Cornwall. When we go down to the caravan in Cornwall, I will fill it up 100%. On the basis I very rarely fill it 100%. I only fill it 80%. But that will give us over 300-mile range on the clock. Obviously, if you've got heating on, or the lights on, or the radio on, that will come down, or the air conditioning. We can get 225 miles, which is the distance, without stopping. But because we're old, we have to, for obvious reasons. But this is a keeper, this car.
And how old is it, and how many miles has it done now?
So when I bought the Tesla, I was an early adopter, because people had to grab hold of something to spend an investment of £100,000 on a car. But it came with an 8-year warranty on the motors and the battery. It also came with free fuel for the life of the car. So if I was to sell it to you, you would still be able to have free fuel for the life of the car. So as it happens, in October this year, it comes up to its 8th anniversary. And it's now done almost 156,000 miles. And as you can see, it's really still like brand new. It's a keeper. And to the fact that it's still on the clock, we're seeing a minute, 310, 312 miles on a full charge. The battery was tested last week, and it's 88% of full capacity, which, you know, is a no-brainer. So we've had the pre-8-year check, which went through with flying colours to make sure that if there was anything faulty, we'd get it covered under warranty with Tesla. And we brought forward the MOT. It was MOT'd, serviced, and a new filter put in the week before last. And the cost of that was £244, including VAT. People don't get that either. You know, if you've got a normal car and it goes in for service, it's 60, 70, 80 quid just for oil before they even start thinking about labour. Let me show you inside the car. Have a sit in that. So, if we go to that one there, it's actually showing
311 miles.
311 miles. If we go to trips, it's showing you've done 155,764 miles. Why would one want to change a car? This probably, WeBuyAnyCar.com, I think I'd be lucky if it was valued at £15,000. And it's still, like, it's just a tragedy that they don't make these anymore in right-hand drive. Left-hand drive, they stopped speccing both the Model X and the Model S in the UK. There's no configuration now on their website. But if you look in the back, you can see just how huge it is. And because I'm in the office furniture industry, this is a commercial vehicle for sure. I can actually get 7 Herman Miller operators chairs in the back because all the floors come up and there's even more space underneath. So continuing on, I think that we need to give you some facts and figures. So the cost of the heat pump and the solar panel was circa 20,000 plus the heat pump. Plus the Indra V2H charger. The car's not included because we use the car, and if we moved, we would take it with us. So the car could be used as it is during the day. It's disconnected. If you want to go and do a bit of shopping or collect or take the children to school, it's not going to make a lot of difference. You make sure that the dishwasher's off and your washing machine's not working. And it's about, being sensible and running those type of machines at 7p when you're connected during the day. So the interesting factor, people say, it's so nice in here, it's ambient. You've obviously got underfloor heating, but we haven't. There is no underfloor heating. And it's not needed because we've got the ambient condition, which I've mentioned earlier. But I've got all sorts of different apps which tell us what is actually happening. So I'm looking at an app right now, and you can, if I just go in at the moment. So if you can see that app, it's saying that we're downloading, because the sun's gone in, 3.82 kilowatts an hour. So that's almost 4 one-bar electric fires burning for an hour. And today, so far, we've downloaded 33.7 kilowatts. So, okay, 33 one-bar electric fires. And you can see how much revenue we've made today, which is £7.63. And we haven't had to pay for any electricity. So if I just go into a different part of the app, I can now look at lifetime. So it's telling me, if you look in the top right hand corner, we have downloaded 15,920 kilowatt in the last 12 months. It went live on the 2nd of August last year, and we're now the 31st of July. So we can call that 12 months, can't we? So another way of looking at it is at the bottom, it's showing that we've sent back to the grid at 15 pence, £2,680. Again, we haven't had to pay for any energy. So with regards to the lifetime, it's saying 15,920. Averagely, people are paying about 30p per kilowatt. What did I say? 15,000, hang on, 15,920. So 15,920 times 0.3 includes VAT equals £4,773 that we've downloaded. So we think, without doubt, if we write the money off the 20,000 we spent on the solar panels and the heat pump, as it's added value to the property, we would say that we'd probably pay back that 20,000 if we hadn't considered it just adding value in just over 2 years. But the other big issue is when we had utility warehouse and our average bill was over £500 a month on average throughout the year for both gas and electricity. And of course, you had to pay tax to be able to pay that 520. So again, it's an absolute win-win. So if you look at it overall, I reckon that we're probably saving something like over £700 a month in what we've actually done and what we've actually achieved. Nobody will believe it. They're welcome to come and go through the figures, which I'm trying to talk to you and tell you about right now. It's an amazing journey for sure. We want the government to take notice, help other people. Let's try and get these vehicle to home chargers working with CCS chargers, and get car manufacturers to wake up and do vehicle to home charging capacity. I know Renault now is looking at it, and one or two others, but in my mind it can't happen fast enough.
So I think what we haven't covered or explained properly is when the battery in the car is being charged and when it is exporting energy to the grid or the house, and what's happening with your solar energy during the day.
Okay, well I think I'll probably start with the solar first. So the solar is doing what it's doing, generating electricity, and that helps to run the house as well. But generally most of that will go back straight to the grid. The car starts charging at 11:30 at night till 5:30 in the morning. And
that's all at
sorry?
That's all at 7 pence.
That's all at 7p.
Octopus Go.
Yeah. And yeah, Octopus Intelligent Go, yeah. The car will then run the house from 5:30. It's an automatic switch. And during the afternoon, mid-afternoon to late evening, it will work out how much more we're likely to use in the house, and it will then decide to then discharge from the car battery back into the grid at 15p. So we're buying at 7p and we're selling back at 15p. It's a no-brainer. People don't get it.
Yeah. So finally, any negatives from going all electric in the house and getting rid of your gas heating and gas hot water?
Absolutely not. We're running the house, 25, 26 degrees forever, 24/7, including now, exactly the same as the hot water. So we could make a lot more money if we were more frugal, but we're old. Why shouldn't we enjoy what we've got? Is there any negatives? Yes, the negative is that the government are not taking action. That's the negative. Everybody should have the opportunity to do what we do. There's so many sharks out there with these companies supplying electricity, making an awful lot of money. I mean, I don't feel bad about buying from them at 7p and selling it back at 15p, because they're going to be charging 26, 27, 28p back to the client. It's a win-win for them. It's great that we got the opportunity to do it, but make no mistake about it, the energy companies are making megabucks from what we're doing. So Matt, I can't thank you enough for doing this video. You do some amazing videos, and the fact that you've taken on board what we've got. We've known each other a long time, and it's fantastic that we can share the story with other people. So I suppose the big pleasure I get is helping others. So I hope this video is a starting point to help other people. If anybody wants to come and view the house and see what we've got going, I welcome that. We are on visit a heat pump with Octopus. We've got somebody coming this Saturday and the following Saturday to come and have a look at the installation. If you want to consider going with Octopus, whether it be just changing your energy supplier to Octopus, you get £50 and I get £50 if you use my referral. And if you want a heat pump, I make £100, and I'm not sure, but I think you also have £100 actually deducted off of your heat pump costs. So we're trying to add the referral links in the video, if we could do that, Matt, can we?
Yeah, big links.
Okay. Also, from the solar panel point of view, we can help with that too. The guys that did ours, I thoroughly recommend them. They actually did the installation in 4 days, the 43 panels, the 2 inverters. And that's something else which we haven't touched on, is the fact that we didn't think that we'd be able to get the DNO, which is the acceptance from the electricity board, for us to export back to the grid. The vehicle to home charger was a 6 kilowatt DNO was granted. We then went for the solar panels and we got 11 kilowatt DNO, and we have another 3.6 DNO. We were going to put a wind turbine in, but that didn't happen because the wind turbine never showed up and we were able to get our money back. So we're now considering putting more panels up. So why shouldn't we?
What Dave has achieved here is impressive and is running a large house with seemingly unlimited hot water and a very high temperature heating. While Dave and Margaret's house is 10 years old and will therefore be well insulated, it just goes to show that heat pumps don't need the huge plumbing changes that people assume, as this house doesn't have underfloor heating and uses small bore pipework. Yet it all works well with just a few radiators swapped out for double panel versions. This and the rest of the house is being powered by a mix of solar and the low price off-peak energy stored in the Nissan 40 kWh battery. In winter months they still get small bills, but the vehicle to house system means that the house is using energy purchased at night at 7p per kilowatt hour, and that is more than offset by the summer solar generation, which is exported back at 15p, and that generates a small net gain throughout the year. Obviously he's using a vehicle that he already owned as the battery storage, but considering how large the house is and the temperature they run the heating at, and they're also charging 3 electric vehicles, this is impressive. Having no annual heating and electricity costs has also aided Dave's well-earned retirement. You can achieve similar results now with a home storage battery, which were in their infancy when Dave had his Indra bi-directional charger installed. A solar and battery system sized right to run the house on home-generated energy, with some summer export to cover the car charging and shortfalls in the winter, will give you energy independence, and the continuing falling cost of the solar and battery systems means that the payback time continues to get shorter. I hope you've enjoyed the video and maybe opened your eyes to what is possible. Please leave your comments and questions below and maybe Dave will answer those directly too. Also, all the links and further information is in the video description. Okie doke, I'll see you on the next video.